Frieren is a fantasy series following a female main character and her party's adventure to the Demon King's castle. And it is the greatest new-gen anime! Roll the fucking clip! On the surface, this is as generic of a summary for an anime as you can get. Throw in female main character, and suddenly everyone is a misogynist. If not that, then I'm going to make an educated guess that you probably gargle nutsacks as a side hustle. This manga has only been around since 2020, so not only is this actually a new generation anime manga, it was probably one of the best anime of 2023 in general. But let's take a look at the competition, because there were behemoths that were choke slamming the internet in 2023. One Piece had one of the craziest transformations ever in Come Canvas Luffy making his debut. Jujutsu Kaisen has established itself as the pinnacle of action shonen with the hidden inventory and Shibuya arc. Vinland Saga dropped the most ambitious and compelling seasons to ever exist in the medium of anime. And Oshinoko is an anime where everyone rated it a 10 out of 10 on the first episode. Which is as far as I've gotten. And that's just to name a few of the bigger ones from a long list of borderline masterpieces in their own sense. This year was a trove of some of the most significant and influential animes seen since MAPPA truly began its climb as one of the most influential studios of this generation. And in my most humble, non-elitist anti-tuber opinion, Frieren sits at the top of every single one of them. What the fuck? Frieren is about fantasy, female main character, adventure to the Demon King's castle. Well, yeah, all of that. But what's different is that this fantasy has a female main character who's fucking racist, doesn't believe in God or heaven, and already put the Demon King 6 foot under. So why is she traveling to the Demon King's castle? But first, I want to thank the sponsors of this video. You guys. From the video I last uploaded to the video you're watching right now, 1,000 of you guys subscribed to me. That is bonkers. I have not uploaded. Why are you subscribing to me? I have not uploaded. Come on now. You see my consistency. It's shit. You can even see the gaps between those videos. It's shit. I just wanted to hop on here and say thank you. Because I haven't done it formally. I did a community post, but I feel like I should say it to your face. I feel like you deserve that for me to say it to your face. Like, I'm staring right in the fucking... But I just want to say thank you. And I'm going to take the time to thank you guys as our sponsors. So, anyways, enjoy the video. In this world, elves are described to be a rare humanoid species whose lifespan is incredibly vast, and their emotions not as vast. Frieren, being one of these emotionless time capsules, becomes an incredibly powerful mage who eventually gets invited to join a party looking to liberate the world from the Demon King. And over her already extensive lifespan, 10 years to travel to the Demon King's castle and slaying the Demon King with her party should have been nothing but...
そうだね。たった10年の冒険だよ。
Yet what followed the mere 10-year journey to free the world from the Demon King's reign was a ridiculously fun adventure with a party of people who left a multi-generational mark on the world and on Frieren. Frieren is not about killing the Demon King. Far from it, actually. It takes place after those events and follows an adventure. An adventure to heaven against what she doesn't believe in. That decade-long journey almost a whole century ago in her now multi-hundred-year lifespan changed her enough to take a leap of faith and follow the path that could lead her to heaven in an attempt to reunite with those that she cared deeply for. Now all this already sounds like a compelling narrative that flips those generic aspects of a fantasy series and makes it feel as invigorating as it is. But this story would not be as impactful if it wasn't for the characters. When you've submerged yourself in most mainstream animes, comparing and contrasting characters is a rabbit hole most people will tend to fall into. Frieren is not an exception. Its exception is that it plays with your expectations. The abusively impulsive one, the super quiet and mysterious persona, the spineless bitch, the alcoholic, the horny motherfucker, and the person full of themselves. Every single one of these character types are generic and have been done a multitude of times. But what's done with these characters specifically is something special. Although they all follow common tropes, they aren't misguided and overplayed for the sake of comedic relief. Instead, the tropes are used to enrich the core of the characters, and in the end, that's what makes each moment that we learn about the characters so special. When Stark was introduced, I immediately saw Zenitsu, but in a short time frame of knowing him as a spineless bitch, he became one of the most beloved characters of the series for me, simply because that fear is what propels Stark into a self-aware character. And that's all it is. Your expectation of a gimmick doesn't exist because there is no gimmick.
Your hands are trembling.
Is that a problem?
No, it is valiant. My son's hands trembled before he marched into battle too.
Now you're stuck watching a character using their characteristic to propel themselves in a position to showcase their potential in their rawest form. Frieren is cool, calm, and collected, even in the most mind-fucking moments. Throw Stark in the mix, and suddenly she's a rash, verbally abusive asshole. Yet the expectation of this being a repetitive comedic relief eventually becomes a live representation of someone actively trying to do better. And with it all, you realize that underneath Fern's cool, calm, and collected persona is a teenager. She is someone who's still incredibly immature in every aspect. Someone learning in strides at every minor inconvenience that doesn't involve killing shit with fucking mage bombs. And Sign. Well, I just like him because I'd kick back and gamble my life savings away as well. Because he is literally the embodiment of learning to live with no regrets.
Zine, is that the reason you've made yourself miserable? You must see that you and I are not the same. The decision to stay was mine to make, and I have never in my life regretted it. Don't pretend that you can say as much. How long do you intend to regret your choice?
And as a guy who is definitely down more than $200 from a multitude of things, including Gavin on my floor right now. That's real as fuck. And Frieren. Her very existence is the reason why so many characters in this show become incredibly fleshed out. Frieren in the beginning is incredibly distant. Things about her are constantly up in the air, and her personality can be underwhelming. But click the next episode, then click again, and then again. That's when you start to see incremental changes in Frieren's constant demeanor. At one point while watching, I got stupidly happy over the smallest detail. Seeing Frieren smile while listening to two people she only just met talk. Although small, this was such a cool thing to see in Frieren's character, since at the start of the series, many of her emotions were unrequited until significant moments. It's character growth that's gradual. It pulls you in by keeping you curious, seeing how much she'll continue to bloom. But despite everything, Frieren still isn't even the most important character. The person responsible is consistently atop popularity polls in Frieren's own show. His name is... The only reason this formula flourishes as much as it does is because of Himmel. Without him, Frieren is just an elf written to wander for centuries. Since episode 1, Himmel has been dead. Yet throughout the entire series, he remains as one of the most consistent and prominent characters that spearheads Frieren's development. After the first episode, we only ever learn about Himmel through Frieren. We learn that he's narcissistic, a perfectionist, and a slight degen, yet extremely considerate, kind-hearted, and someone who tells his own story. Someone who won't let a prophecy make him any less than a hero.
I'll still defeat the Demon King and bring peace to the world.
I want to talk about passion now, so let's talk about passion. This is my video, and you're here to listen to me preach! What's crazy is that this anime can be called one of the best new-gen animes because of its heavy slice-of-life elements. Contrary to popular belief, to realistically fucking care about a character, slice-of-life is almost essential. The conversations, arguments, side jobs, flashbacks, sad shit, stupid shit, laughably dumb shit, pats on the head, greetings, conversations again, the motherfucking booze, and the goodbyes. A lot of these things people could give two flying fucks about. But believe me when I say this, the crew on this project is what makes these moments palpable. The voice acting engages you, the composer sends a rush of dopamine down your body, the author and director just sweep you off your feet. Even the animators manage to keep your eyes hooked. Like, holy shit, I can't even attain this level of smoothness. I can't even speak smoothly. And don't even get me started on who does this shit, because I don't know. Like, I literally, who the fuck does this? Who makes stop motion in films? What do you call someone who stop motion? Huh. See, I'm a dumbass, but it doesn't take many brain cells to know that you need to have a lot of love for a project in order to invest the time and money to also implement stop motion into it. So what's the point of the segment, and why am I still talking? Well, unfortunately, I've seen and had too many people tell me now that they've been misled into thinking it's a fucking high-octane orgy of action and stunning animation, which is not far from the truth if I'm being honest here, because if you're able to sit and appreciate the slower and more intimate moments, that's when the stimulating stuff hits like crack. Dynamic action sequences are not abandoned in the face of a looming slice-of-life narrative. Thank Madhouse for this. Madhouse is one of the most iconic studios to date, having produced titles such as Hajime no Ippo, Death Note, One Punch Man, Hunter x Hunter, and for some fucking reason, Lilo and Stitch spin-offs. But that's also just to name a few among the long list of animes since 1973. Their versatility in the industry is nothing to write off. Even Iron Man's something they've worked on. Like, what the fuck? Now, although they have worked on massive names in the past, these last few years has given us pedophile princess, as well as low pay for their employees, inhumane scheduling, too many big projects, and a lot of staff saying fuck you and packing their bags, as well as Masao Maruyama leaving at one point, which now it kind of makes sense why all this sounds familiar. How Madhouse has decided to handle producing Frieren in spite of its track record deserves awards. Best studio to learn from their mistakes awards, that type of thing. Because what Frieren has become can arguably be called Madhouse's best directed series ever. The staff's creativity and love put into this project is so evident in the slower parts of the show that when you see the camera flying around in an entirely hand-drawn scene, it's what I like to call pornography. Because regardless of the pace of what's on screen, nothing ever feels out of place. Huh? Demons in Frieren are different. Far from your typical interpretations of what a demon may look like, red skin, arrow-ended tails, sharp teeth, bare wings, distinctively sinister looking in the eyes of humans, and horns. Here, the demons are eerie. They look and act nothing like the demons that we imagine. They speak our language, they're well-dressed and well-mannered, are seemingly human-looking, and most importantly, they have a sense of family.
Allow me to compliment the tidiness of your son's room. I wager you've kept it just as it was 10 years ago.
What does it matter to you?
I've kept my father's room the same since he was lost to us too, from when you struck him down.
The demon lied just now, and so did I. I spread misinformation. This is nothing new. But these demons, they act this way because they're man-eaters. I am not a man-eater. Love myself some meat. Wait, what? Hold on. Wait, hold on. Who the fuck put on this track?
Shut up, man.
Stop! I fuck with sketch, but that's not what I meant. Steak, chicken, pork, fish, that's what I'm about. These demons are fucking manipulators. Their whole demeanor and appearance towards humans exists for the sole purpose of getting snackies, and that's where they're most terrifying. It's what makes these demons one of the most perfect configurations of an antagonist that I have seen for an anime. Not because they are designed to instill an instinctual relation to something that's evil, but because they try to avoid that as much as possible in order to imprint ambiguity. Now, although I'm praising the demons in Frieren for being some of the best depictions of demons I have ever seen, this isn't something that brews and gets unveiled with an incredible build-up backing it. Literally because it's on motherfucking sight! The second Frieren sensed a demon in the vicinity, the strap was pulled and she was ready to blow them the fuck up! Frieren taps into an American cop's psyche whenever a demon's nearby. She's a fucking racist! And Frieren's been on this timing since Christ was probably conceived, I'm gonna be honest here. So realistically, I stand with it. Death to the demons. Fuck them. This show is so good, I have become a full-blown racist. Towards demons, of course. Fuck it. Throw in chronic Twitter users too. They perpetually reek of ass and stupid juice. I'm sick of it. I can go on and on about absolutely everything this anime showcases, but this video would end up being way too long, and I'm actually so fucking serious. I've been working on this video for way too long now! In contrast to most other series, Frieren doesn't have an intricate story. Oftentimes while watching, you'll forget the driving storyline, instead getting absorbed in the characters, the conflicts, the dynamics, the adventure, and the messages that continuously riddle the series in every breath it takes. These and many other aspects of the series is why it went from roughly 16th place on Mal at its lowest point to completely dethroning the fucking everlasting king, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and becoming the new highest rated anime on Mal. From episode 10 onwards, Frieren continued to climb in rating, with the review bombers ready to ride at dawn and the increasing narrative of the series dropping because of recency bias. Frieren's rating still continues to get better and better even after it's finished airing for months. And now, an actual fucking gap in the ratings. I know Mal isn't the place that people like to look at for ratings anymore, but regardless, it's impossible to ignore that Frieren is at the top. The difference with Frieren though is that it wasn't given that position with 1 or 2 episodes. It fucking worked for that position with each and every episode. This show is so fucking good that when I was rewatching Frieren and it was my sister's first time watching it, I asked her recently if she wanted to finish watching Frieren, and her response was, "You know, I consistently think about that kill yourself scene like at least once a month." Bro, do you understand how good anything has to be for someone who's relatively normal to say something like that? Pretty fucking good, alright? So I'm going to let you know right now that I've rewatched Frieren about 3 times, and I want you to sit on that for a bit because we're going to come back to it. The thing with Frieren is that the way it plays into the adventure and dilutes the main story is almost kind of rare in other animes. But once you look at the few stories that do lean into the adventure aspect in order to supplement the main story, you realize although their themes differ massively, they're all fucking huge. One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, Mushoku Tensei, Dandadan even, and 3 out of 4 of them are already gigantic, and the other is only going to get bigger. Basically, they all have massive fucking cocks. And just like their cocks, they all have a common recurring notion. The immersion each and every story creates becomes incredibly more interesting than the story itself. Because while we got hooked by the story, as we experience the characters and the world that surrounds them, it becomes less about the story and more about the adventure. And looping back around to the fact that I've rewatched this show 3 fucking times since it's finished airing, let me tell you this. On every single one of those rewatches, not only did I still enjoy the fuck out of it, I enjoyed it even more than the last. In any form of media, nothing has ever made me feel like that. I've rewatched many shows during my tenure as a smelly weeb that I really fucking enjoy. Then there's Frieren, which has affected me so much that I became a fucking caveman high off some fucking Frieren shrooms.
We're selling this? I don't know. Are we selling everything? Are we?
He's ruining this moment. Anyways. My immersion didn't end with the adventure on the first watch. It didn't stop at me noticing subtleties that had me yelling peak on an average of 3 times every episode on my first rewatch. Yes, I fucking counted. I was that invested. And still, it didn't stop at where I was holding back tears during the emotional scenes on my second rewatch when I didn't care the first time. And on my third rewatch, admittedly, I absolutely shed some tears. It's an understatement putting into words how much better the show got with each rewatch. But to put all my yap into perspective, this is how it is. It's ironic that this series has a lot to do about time, since the reason I grew to love this series was linked to that very thing. Initially, when we watch Frieren go through her adventure, we're seeing the changes in her perspective on the memories she made with the hero's party. Then, when going back to watch the series again, we're now in Frieren's position. Our perspectives are now changing, and the smallest interactions that we originally didn't think much of, all of a sudden, is an entirely new and engaging experience. I felt less like I was rewatching Frieren, and more like I was reliving it. So that's why I believe this anime is so special. Why? I believe in this space of medium where the best involves consistent, stimulating action, or I want to be the greatest plot points, Frieren is the best anime of the new generation. First off, I am sorry. This video took much longer to get out than anticipated and as promised, but in those 7 to 8 months, I found out that I would rather die than stop making videos. And for that, I want to thank you guys. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and commenting. And if you want to see if I'm actually alive in between the making of these videos, warning, I'm about to be a fucking sellout. Run while you can! You can head to patreon.com/Ketsutsukami, where you'll find the behind the scenes tutorials and can even join the Patreon exclusive Discord where I consistently give updates. And I will 100% be giving you guys an update video on there or on here about where I've been and what's the future of the channel. Because without you still doing what you're doing, even after I haven't uploaded in ages, I would have never had the motivation to continue. And special thanks to my tier 3 Patreon supporters, Leon Akafabi, Lava Mob Sandro, and Agnes. Again, patreon.com/Kazutsukami. And my mouth is getting dry because I've been talking for so long. I'm gonna go now. Bye now.